Welcome to the Business of Hearing podcast, the number one marketing and practice growth podcast for high-performing private practice hearing care leaders. It's Friday, and this is my end-of-week roundup of what's top of mind after 7 days of helping some of the world's best private practices to attract high-quality patients, fight the evil forces of manufacturer-owned chains, and be impossible to compete with. My name's Ollie Luke. Pull up a chair, pour yourself a drink, and let's have a chat. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business of Hearing podcast. And today we're talking physician marketing. And we know this is like the juiciest topic in our industry, mainly because of the value of a relationship, right? Like the work to win a relationship with one patient is worth however much to you, south of $10,000, right? You win a relationship with one individual again, but it's a physician that can refer many people to you over the next 10 years. And what we're talking, $1 million plus relationship, like it's significant, right? And really this is just building a relationship with one individual. So we know physician marketing is significantly valuable to the success of a practice. But I don't know about you. Have you noticed that something's changed with physician marketing? I'm going to put my finger on it and explain exactly what that is and what's working right now in 2024 to infiltrate the relationship with physicians and generate referrals from high-performing physicians. So let's dive straight into this. Now we're going to start with a pretty significant stat. 47.2% of all physicians in the US are over the age of 55. Now that's pretty harrowing, because that suggests, as we know with the boomers and this boom that we're getting right now, that over the next 10 to 15 years, nearly half of the physicians that are currently in place will no longer be there. And what we're going to get is a younger breed that is coming through. Now that is interesting on a few fronts. First of all, I'm going to make an assumption that the physicians that refer to you and have referred to you for a period of time may fall into that category. And we are now on the downwards trend of them going to be retiring at some point in the future. Like that first of all means that you need to start considering, how do you start building a relationship with the younger colleague of the referring physician? Like you need to ensure that that relationship is passed on and well maintained, because if you're relying on that one relationship right now and that relationship disappears, then naturally it's going to be quite costly. So ensuring you get that right is so key. Like have those relationships, have those conversations, ensure you're not just building it with one, but building it with two. Like that's a big step that I think we should all be making right now. But the second thing here is, how do we market to physicians right now and going forward, knowing that the target is shifting? Previously, we could do things like drop off a folder of information, take some cookies and coffee, big smiles, turn up in the moments where they're not expecting it and do something nice for them. Like all those things in order to be known, liked and trusted by that generation of physicians. But knowing we've got younger physicians coming through, I think the playing field is changing ever so slightly. Because even what it is to be a physician now is different to like 20 years ago, right? We know we've got these big groups involved. We know the consolidation that's occurring. We know physicians are being stretched in a million directions. It's 20-minute appointments. They've got to be sharp. They've got to be punctual. They're absolutely running from pillar to post to just try to do their job day to day. Like you consider the modern day physician, you look at the approach that we've had to physician marketing in the past. Like if you turn up with a folder of information, some cookies and some coffee, I think that's going to be seen as a negative rather than a positive. If a physician is so time poor that they're stretched, they can't keep up, they've got patients coming out of their ears, and you're turning up to be another person they've got to see, or you're turning up with like bundles of information that they're probably never going to read, like it's all the best intentions, but is it the right thing for today's market right now? And I don't believe it is. I think there's alternative approaches that you can explore, and I'll talk about them today. But firstly, I want to talk about just a dynamic of physicians that we rarely give any consideration to, because I'm going to assume you've got some physicians that refer to places like Costco, for example. And given the professional that you are, that must drive you absolutely batshit crazy. because like, why would they possibly refer to Costco? Why? Like, that's the wrong decision. Like, the physician must be crazy. Why are they doing that? And I think the more I thought about this and pondered on it, I think this breaks down into 3 C's. When a physician is looking to make a referral, they're going to fall on one of 3 C's. It's either going to be convenience, care, or connection. And I'll break this down for you. Convenience for a physician perspective is Costco. Now, the reason it's convenient is they've got no skin in the game. If the patient says like, oh, where should I go for my hearing challenge? When they say, oh, Costco are great, they do it. What does that mean? It means the physician can wash their hands of that referral. They've referred them somewhere that's safe, that the patient knows. The patient's never going to come back and say, you sent me to Costco. Wow, what a disgrace that was. Like, it's almost this safe, convenient focus where there's little thought that goes into it and there's little repercussion for the physician. Like, it's a very convenient thing to do. Care, when they make a care focus, the second C, referral, they really care about the outcome for the patient. The patient's got this challenge. They're going to go, okay, who is the best person in the community based on everything I know in order to help solve this? And they're going to make that referral. They're the ones that are probably referring to you. And then the third one is connection. And that is, who's that physician got a relationship with, right? We know this exists. They've got a long-standing relationship. There may be a little more going on in terms of like they've known each other for many years, or they've had dinners together and stuff like that. Those things kind of occur. But like, that would be the other reason that they would siphon referrals to a trusted partner, referral partner, whatever it would be in the industry for any hearing care related referral. So those 3 C's break down. And I think from our perspective right now, the connection one is a hard one to infiltrate, but we've got the care and we can do a better job for care. But I feel that convenience element is something that can be manipulated as well if we educate physicians more that we're the safe pair of hands for them to refer to. So I know I'm getting a little off beat here and just being a little more big picture on breaking down why physicians refer in certain directions, but all this kind of plays around in how we infiltrate the marketing approach to generate referrals from physicians right now in 2024 and beyond. Now, I want to share what I believe is the best approach based on what I'm seeing right now if you want to build meaningful relationships with physicians. And I think these 3 C's are super, super valuable. Because if you're looking to show that you're a safe pair of hands, if you're looking to infiltrate that convenience of saying if you refer to us, like, all good, we've got it, we will continue to do great work, make you look great. And if you want to appeal for that care element by saying we have our finger on the pulse, we're at the cutting edge of hearing care, we care about the hearing health of the community, then the play I'd be making right now is simplified education. So what I mean by that, and to be really tactical, a quarterly printed physician newsletter is a superpower. If you can have something that drops on the physician once a quarter, that is printed, that has 2 articles where you're writing towards the physician to share exactly what's hot right now in the world of hearing healthcare that matters to them, then all of a sudden you're showing that you care about the community. You're showing that for the care bucket, you very much fill that bucket, and you're also winning know, like, and trust to start being that convenient place to refer as well. But if you do this quarter over quarter, where you show up with relevant, helpful articles, actually helps play to the ego of the physician and makes them continue to be the smartest person in the room when any topics of conversation come up, then all of a sudden you are becoming the partner that they'll see as somebody that has their best interests at heart and will continue to look out for them. And they'll probably look out for you by giving you more referrals. And we do this a lot with our inner circle members, and like, take back over the past 24 months, first people to share what OTC is with them and how they need to warn patients and what they need to know what it is, it was our members towards physicians. When Biden made them comments about hearing care professionals basically ripping people off, who was the response that shared what this means? It was our members towards physicians. When Apple introduced the rumored hearing aid mode, and it was going to come as part of our iOS 18, who was ahead of that, educating physicians on what this may mean if it reaches the market and ensure that they're empowered to make the right calls and educate their patients correctly. It was our members towards physicians. So it's very much what's hot right now. And the biggest thing that our members are educating physicians on right now is TPA. It's the consolidation that's happening in the industry and the difference between referring to a manufacturer-owned chain or a big box compared to a private practice. It's really infiltrating that relationship and educating the physician to make wiser referrals and see them as a safe pair of hands who they know, they like, they trust, they know will look out for them, ensure they look good in front of the patient because the work's been done in advance to already help them look good in front of the patient. But like that would be my key go-to physician marketing strategy right now. It's not turn up with coffee. It's not share bundles of information that they're never going to read because more isn't better. It's be purposeful with helping them look good, helping them be educated, show that you have your finger on the pulse of the latest of hearing healthcare and you truly care about the hearing health of the community. If you get that bit right, then you're in a beautiful place. Second thing I'd be looking at from a physician marketing perspective right now is, look, if you can win the hearts of everybody around the physician, you'll probably win the heart of the physician. And I think there's an opportunity to do something a little bit outrageous. So here's where I'd start right now is run some numbers. How much is a physician worth to you? Like a good relationship with a physician, how much is that worth? And you know, how many do they refer a month? If they refer, let's say 2 patients a month, how much does that patient go on to spend on average? Let's just play silly numbers. Let's say it's $6,000. Okay, so we're talking $12,000 a month of revenue from that potential referral partner. Well, let's scale that over a year. And what have we got there? Well, we've got $144,000 a year. Let's scale that over the next 10 years. So you go, oh, geez, okay. We've got about $1.4 million of revenue from that one referral partner. Now you play that game out and you go, that physician could be worth that. Then all of a sudden, how much would you spend in order to build a relationship with that physician to turn them into a referral partner? If they're going to be worth over $1 million to you, then the game all of a sudden shifts. It's not how can we keep our print costs down and spend less than $20. Like, would you spend $200 to build a relationship with a physician that could be worth millions to you? Would you spend $1,000? Like, this is your question to answer. But once you start to understand what you can spend in order to acquire the relationship, then the dynamics change. And I think this is where you can be a little more unique. You can do things that nobody else does by spending more in order to be impossible to ignore. And one of our members did this recently. They ordered a bunch of lock boxes, so these transparent boxes with a lock code, like a little pin code on the front. They filled them with candy, they filled them with like chocolate, and then there was a note on the top, which is like, would you like to know the code? Give us a call so that we can talk about how we can support you and your patients with any hearing health related challenges, and we'll reveal the code. Here's the number, we're expecting your call. And essentially it was a little bit of a cheeky bribe, right? This clear lockbox turns up full of candy to the front office. They see it. They want to know that code because they want to crack it. What a great Tuesday afternoon this has become. Like, that is the vibe, right? And what happens is people call. People want to know. Some people don't call but must break into the box. Nobody's been in it. And as a result, it shows up. It's interesting. It stands out. It's difficult to ignore. Now, she sent a bunch of them. Up to now, we've had about 25% respond and set up meetings to discuss referrals. Each box cost about $50. Like, all of a sudden, this is becoming a pretty wise move, right? If she can drop 20 boxes for $1,000, and out of that, she gets about 5 referral partners, then that's a significant return on investment if we look at this big picture over the next 10 years. So like, they're the things I'd be playing. If you can win the hearts of the team around the physician, you'll probably win the heart of the physician, and then the continued education. But if you can do those bits right, you're going to win those 3 C's, right? You're going to start showing that you're the caring option. If they care about the best outcomes for the patient, then you're going to be the logical choice because you're naturally positioned as the one that cares most about the hearing health of the community. If it's a convenient option, they want a safe pair of hands where nothing's ever going to come back on them and they're always going to look good, you'll win that option. And then as a result of those two, with this continued work, that connection thing isn't far away. And if you can get those 3 C's, that no matter what the motivation of the physician is, you're the person that fills that bucket, then you're in a pretty good position to build a phenomenal practice off the back of physician referrals. If we're doing this with the younger physicians that have got 30 years ahead of them in a career, then you're in a very, very good position. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope that's been a nice balance of some big picture thinking about the reason physicians refer and some real tactical things that you can get your teeth into right now in order to move the needle in your practice. I appreciate your ears greatly, and I'll speak to you again very soon. And there we have it. Another episode has come to an end, and I have a quick favour to ask. If you have found this helpful, then who do you know who should listen to this podcast? I strongly believe a rising tide lifts all boats, and right now, private practice needs to stick together to fight these big, gormless groups and these manufacturer-owned Goliaths that are looking to take market share from us. Consider who should be listening, pass on the word about the Business of Hearing podcast, and I'll see you again next week.